Hi, I'm Rhiannon from the Epsom Bakehouse, and today I'd like to talk to you about proving baskets, how to use them and how to look after and store them. If you're enjoying these bread making tips and you want to start making your own great bread at home, you can download my top 5 bread making tips. I'll let you know more about how to do that at the end of this video. So, these are proving baskets or bannetons, and I often get asked about them because I have a whole stack of them to one side, and when people come for classes they want to know what they are and what they use them for. So I just thought I'd go through today a little bit more about what a banneton is, why you might use it in bread making, and also how to care and store for it. So either called bannetons or proving baskets, these can be made from kind of compressed wood pulp or cardboard, or they can be made from wicker cane. And usually a wicker cane one comes with a liner. And these baskets are used to support the dough as it rises once you've shaped it into the loaf shape that you require. They're usually used for wetter doughs or those where the flour produces a weaker gluten structure and needs the support. So often in sourdough baking, but you can use them for any bread you're baking. And you can see, for example, in this compressed cardboard one, that it's got ridges all down the inside, and those will transfer a print onto the top of your loaf as it proves, so it makes for a really pretty loaf. So how do you use one when you want to bake with a banneton or proving basket? So the first step is to condition your basket a little bit, and all I mean by that is that to stop your dough sticking, you will need to heavily flour this. And usually I use a dark rye flour, but you could also use something like rice flour. I wouldn't use wheat flour because it gets very sticky. So really heavily flour the basket before you put any wet dough in there. If you're using one with a liner, then you do also need to flour the liner before you pop anything in there. You then shape your dough. So this one would be a round, and obviously this one would be a more loaf shape. And then pop your dough top side down, so with the seam upwards, into your basket, and then cover with a shower cap or other covering and leave it to rise. Once your dough's risen and you've popped it onto a baking tray to bake in the oven, you'll then need to leave your banneton or proving basket to dry. So let the flour dry out a bit, just leave it to air dry. And then I use a nail brush that I keep solely for this purpose and brush the flour out, probably into the sink with the water running to just stop clouds of flour. So brush the flour out, don't get the banneton wet, but brush it out into the sink, and then leave your banneton to dry before putting it away. And instead of stacking directly on top of one another like that, I would put it at an angle so you can allow the air to circulate whilst these are stored in your cupboard. You don't want anything growing such as mould on them. Every once in a while, you can sterilise your baskets by popping them into a warm oven. So say at about 100 degrees for 10 minutes or so, and that will completely dry them out. You might be thinking, well, I don't want to get one of these, or where can I get them? Or perhaps I'm not going to be able to get my hands on one. Well, sometimes you can get them in larger supermarkets, and also if you have a look online, you're likely to find them. So either type in bread proving baskets or bannetons, so B-A-N-N-E-T-O-N, bannetons, and you'll probably find examples of both of these. However, you could make your own. A couple of tips though, if you are going to make your own from, say for example, a bowl. You could use a bowl, but you need to have one that's slightly porous. So don't be using a heavy metal or glass bowl. Instead, use one with gaps in it. So for example, a colander. And then line it, but you could use a tea towel, but it needs to be a really heavy linen tea towel, nothing thin and cotton, because the dough will stick to that. You need to have it porous as well, because that will wick away the moisture from your dough and stop it getting very clammy and sticky and sticking entirely to your bowl. Again, you would need to flour whatever you use to make one of these at home. So do let me know if you use a banneton or proving basket and how your bread turns out. I love to see your bakes. And if you've got any bread making questions that you'd like answered, just pop them in the comments below, and I'll be including answers to them in future bread making videos. Otherwise, I'll say bye for now and happy baking.